Jumping into the number 5 spot of the best gaming headsets for sound quality is the Razer Kraken Hypersense, coming in at a price tag of $129.99. If at any point during the video you want to check out any of the 5 headsets in this video, there's Amazon links below for the US, UK, Canada, and international links, but let's jump in to the Razer Kraken V3 Hypersense. For the build quality, the bands are solid metal that goes halfway around the ear cups and feels super high quality and very durable. There's then fabric and foam on the inner headband with a plush leather top band. The ear cups themselves are plastic, but they do have that Razer RGB logo in them, which does look great. That's pretty much on the entire Kraken lineup. Well, at least the V3. But let's get into the meat, the sound quality. Obviously the most important, especially with this video. This is the best sounding Razer headset Razer currently sells, and it's very, very good for the price, but it's still not the best on the list. It's actually the worst on the list, but it's still very good. Trebles are very clear and crisp with very, very small amounts of muddiness where the trebles kind of fall off right at the top end of that frequency range. Mids are nice and clear, however, the low frequency response is just good without having that depth that the other headsets on this list do give you. But let's talk gaming because, well, listening to music, movies and stuff is great, but gaming, well, these are gaming headsets. And this does exceptionally well. Directional sound in game is great, and it's very easy to find subtle footsteps or where other sounds are coming from. And obviously this has the Razer Hypersense haptics, which obviously this is the only headset on the list that's going to have haptics. This is also the best implementation of Razer's haptics, which they've done on 3 different headsets. This is the best. You have 3 different levels of haptics. It's essentially going to make you feel, you know, shooting a gun in game or driving a car, although that might not be the best situation for the haptics, but it's gonna make you feel them. There's 3 different levels. It's easy to turn off if you don't like it, but for the price point, it's actually very, very nice to have when considering the build quality, the sound quality, and then obviously you get the haptics. So yeah, it's a pretty good price. Now for controls, on the back of the left ear cup, there is a mic mute button, a volume wheel, and then a detachable mic. Then on the right, there is a button to change the intensity of the haptics. And that's pretty it. Simple, but it actually works well. For connectivity, this is wired with a non-detachable USB cable. Now for comfort, the earmuffs here are very plush. They fit around my larger ears perfectly. The seal is pretty much perfect. They don't press too hard against my head at all. It's also not too loose. The top band is exactly what it should be. It's nice and plush, but it's not too soft as to not add support. Now let's talk mic quality. Mic quality on the Kraken V3 Hypersenses is lacking when compared to others on the list, but do keep in mind that the others on the list are like exceptionally good. Like they are actually exceptional. But yeah, this definitely sounds muddy, but take a listen for yourself and stick around to the end of the video. We're gonna do a back-to-back mic test of every single headset. But yeah, take a listen to Kraken V3 Hypersenses.
This is the mic test of the Razer Kraken V3 Hypersense. Check, check, check. 1, 2, 3.
And that is how it sounds. But with that, let's move on to the number 4 spot, which is the Sennheiser HD560Ss. Now this retails for $229.25, but this is pretty consistently on sale, under $200. I personally bought mine for about 150 bucks. So actually the price point is not bad. Now the build quality here is pretty much classic Sennheiser. It has those unique oval ear cups, similar to like the PC37 or 38Xs. It's nice and lightweight, but still feels durable. Mainly plastic build quality here with attractive metal grills on the ear cups and the decorative Sennheiser logos throughout. Great flexibility with the adjustments, as well as just being comfortable and having nice foam padding on that top band with the velour ear pads. Overall, the build quality is not gonna blow you away, especially for the price point, but we don't really expect that when it comes to brands like Sennheiser or, well, more audiophile brands, not gaming brands, but it's still durable and that's what matters. But sound quality here, this is where it steps it up a level and where all of the other ones keep it at that audiophile territory. Now here we have good bass, nothing crazy. I personally prefer a little bit more bass, but it's something that is pretty easily download an EQ software, do a quick EQ tune, and you're pretty much good to go. But yeah, out of the box, I would personally prefer more bass. Trebles are fantastic though, honestly. Super crisp without over boosting the trebles, and although the mids are definitely a little bit muddy, which is really the biggest attraction from the sound quality out of the box is that the mids are for sure muddy. Now keep in mind, this is me being super picky. These headsets are, all of them are unbelievable with sound quality. The Razer's really good and it's the best Razer, but once you get from 4 all the way down to 1, these are all exceptional. But let's talk gaming performance. How does this do in game? In game, the Sennheiser shines so much because of these super crisp trebles. Super easy to hear where sounds are coming from, as well as just being such a nice audio quality for that emotional side of gaming. Now, the bass doesn't give you the biggest sensation with explosions or basser audio, but in most games, this is amazing. And EQ can go a long way to change how this headset's gonna sound. But overall, as a gaming headset, yeah, this is a total win. It sounds so good. As for controls, you get none. No controls. This is a headset that is not really a headset. These are more just like headphones, but in a lot of cases, that's the best gaming headset. So yeah, for connectivity, this uses a detachable 2.5 to 3.5 millimeter cable. Also in the box, there is a 3.5 to 6.35 millimeter adapter. So if you do want to do that, if you have like a special amp, then there you go. Now, comfort on the HD560Ss is good. The top band is plush and they don't put any uneven pressure on my skull, but they're still very fitted to my head. The earmuffs are a little bit stiff, but overall still very, very comfortable. And I really did enjoy using this for longer gaming sessions. When you first pick it up, you're like, this might be a little uncomfortable, but once on the head, it's great. The other thing is fantastic adjustability, twisting this way. With those earmuffs, you can really get it fitted on your head. So because of that, total pass with comfort. But again, more leaning on the actual fit rather than the actual material that makes it comfortable, which is not a bad thing in my book. Now let's talk about mic quality. Well, this is the only headset on the list that does not have a mic because it's really just headphones. So you can get an adapter from 2.5 to 3.5 and then use a V-Moda BoomPro mic. And that mic is great. Everyone knows it. It's very popular. So take a listen to that mic. There's the mic test.
This is the mic test of the V-Moda BoomPro. Check, check, check. 1, 2, 3.
And that is how it sounds. But with that, let's move on to the number 3 spot, which is the Beyerdynamic MMX 300 Gen 2. Coming in at a whopping price tag of $239. Is it worth it? Let's see. Build quality on the MMX 300s for the price is lacking. It feels solid, but not premium whatsoever. This has a basic leather wrap top band and soft velour earmuffs. The ear cups are entirely made of plastic, and adjustable bands are nice brushed metal, but all adjustments are super stiff. So if you're talking just from like a usability, long-term 20-year period, it's gonna be great. This seems like it's going to hold up, but it does not feel premium whatsoever. And when you're paying almost $250 for a headset, that's something you're either gonna have to be okay with stomaching or not okay with stomaching. Now, the firmness of all adjustments doesn't just include like the top band. The mic is also super, super stiff. The good thing is when you get it dialed in, nothing is moving. No matter how hard you game or how hard you throw your headset around, it's not gonna move. So that is one positive out of what many may call a negative. And the cherry on top with the build quality is this does come with a nice carrying case. It's very cool, actually. But who cares about that? Let's talk sound quality. For $239, it better be good, and it is truly impressive. These drivers are unbelievably clear. It has good bass, but not tons of bass. While these are absolutely no question better drivers, and these might be the best drivers on the entire list, they're not tuned perfectly. With an EQ tune, these can become absolutely golden. Now, personally, for listening to music, while it sounds absolutely fantastic, I do want more bass. But at the end of the day, this is a gaming headset video, so how does it game? Well, these are quite amazing. Like, so good. Directionally, these are the best on the list. It is so freaking easy to tell where sounds are coming from. And because the drivers are so good, they're able to do high frequency response, the trebles, so crisply without ever being overboosted and zero muddiness. That's really quite impressive to get. And that's something that really comes out with games. The clicks and the depth of footsteps and other clicks and, you know, bullet shells dropping on the floor, like that is absolutely wild. These are so good that way. These really do bring out every fine little detail, which is pretty awesome for gaming. They're really just lacking bass out of the box, which honestly, when I got these out, I was like, okay, they're not open back like most of the headsets on the list. I don't know if I mentioned the Sennheiser HD560Ss are open back. This is one of the only ones with the Razer that isn't open back. You would expect that it would have more bass, but it does not. So EQ tune it if you want more bass, exceptional drivers. Now, for controls on the cable, there is a volume wheel, mic mute switch, and a play pause button. It works pretty well, but I would prefer it on the headset itself. For connectivity, this uses a detachable 3.5mm cable or another detachable 3.5mm cable with a Y-split for separate mic and headphone connections. There is also a 6.35mm adapter in the box, again, if you have like an amp or, you know, whatever you want to use it for, you got it. Now, as for comfort, these provide a great seal, but the really only problem I have with comfort, because everything else is like good, I can game on these for a long period of time without it getting physically uncomfortable, but it does get a little bit hot, which we do expect just from looking at these. These do get a little bit hot if you do, you know, not have your AC blasting a lot of the time. This might be something to consider. The top band is plush and they have a great weight to them. Overall, I don't really have many complaints besides the fact that these do get hot. Now let's talk about mic quality on the Beyerdynamic. These is the best mic on the list, so at least you're getting your money's worth there. You could easily use this for voiceovers. It is super clear and crisp, but doesn't lose those lower tones in your voice. It also has a fantastic low noise floor, but don't take my word for it, take a listen to the mic test.
This is the mic test of the Beyerdynamic MMX 300 Gen 2s. Check, check, check. 1, 2, 3.
And that is how it sounds. But with that, let's move on to the number 2 spot, which is the Corsair Virtuoso Pro, coming in at a price tag of $199.99. This headset absolutely blew me away. It's very, very new. It just came out, but Corsair did a fantastic job on this headset. For build quality, there is tons of metal throughout. The ear cups are metal with the classic Corsair triangle cutouts, but that triangle cutout is all metal. It kind of gives me like skeletalized watch design. Even the rotating ear cups feel super, super premium. The fabric stitching and finishing looks and feels very high quality. The detachable mic arm is like fabric, but it's super high quality knit fat, like it's very cool. The metal band is also easy to adjust to your head size, and it comes with a hard carrying case. I could go on for a lot longer about the build quality, but I hope that you can just see whatever it looks like on the video, it looks better in person. This is a fantastic looking and feeling headset. You definitely feel like this costs $200. But let's talk about the sound quality. Now, out of the box, this has better trebles and bass than the Sennheiser. And when we're talking about bass, I mean it. This has great deep bass, probably the most bass on the entire list. Well, actually, for sure, the most bass on the entire list. These really surprised me coming from Corsair. Not that Corsair is bad at all, but coming from a gaming brand rather than more of like an audio brand, this is just very surprising how well they did. This is extremely impressive, and this is honestly the headset that I would personally buy for myself personally. This in the number 1 spot, it would be hard to pick, but this is probably the one that I would actually go with if I was gonna spend my own money on a personal headset rather than just buying a bunch for tests. All right, now in music, these are super rich. There is a little bit of muddiness with the trebles, but pretty minimal. The bass is great, like I said, but seems like the very low end can sometimes overpower the more detailed low frequencies that aren't all the way at that super deep bass level, if that makes any sense at all. But do keep in mind, I am being unbelievably picky. If you put these on, they sound fantastic. Audiophile level. They are also open back, so you get a very nice sound profile. So music actually sounds great and very rich and full, but let's talk about gaming. How does it do? Well, in games, these are amazing, literally perfect out of the box. Some others have better drivers overall, like I think the Beyerdynamic definitely have better, higher quality drivers, but not surprisingly, out of the box, these are the best tuned on the list for gaming. They have clear trebles, fantastic bass and low frequency response, good mids, and just so enjoyable for gaming, giving both that emotional side of gaming, but also having great directional sound. Corsair knocked this out of the park. Now, as for controls, on the back of the mic, there is a mic mute switch, and that's it. Like, that's all you get, but that's all you need, I guess. No, I could actually do with a little bit more, like a volume rocker or something. Give me something here, but it's okay. It's so good that it gets a pass. Now, as for connectivity, this comes with a few different cables. The first is a detachable 3.5mm Y-split design that plugs into both sides of the ear cups. Then there's the same design with only the detachable mic that plugs into the left ear cups. And this is the only part that I really don't like. It's a small thing, but it's like, if I'm gonna pay this much money for a headset, I don't want some like early 2000s looking headphones with like 2 cables coming down. I don't like that at all, but you know. You also get a 3.5mm adapter for splitting your mic and headphone connections if you are running a PC that doesn't have a single connection. Now the cables feel super premium. Like these are really nice cables. You get nice rubber and metal accents on the ends as well. So it just feels really high quality. Now comfort here. Overall comfort is great. I wish the top padding was a little bit more plush, but it's still really good. The fabric earmuffs are plush and it sits nicely on my skull and has a good seal, and it's also not too heavy. However, the space between your ears and the drivers is a little shallow, so my ears do hit the fabric covering, but they're nicely padded, so it's really kind of a non-issue. Overall, full pass on comfort. For mic quality, it's not as impressive as some of the others on the list, which are extremely impressive, but still a good mic. It has a louder noise floor and is a bit too crispy, but don't take my word for it. Take a listen to the mic test.
This is the mic test of the Corsair Virtuoso Pros. Check, check, check. 1, 2, 3.
And that is how it sounds. And before we get to the number 1 spot, we have an honorable mention. Let's get into it. This is the Drop and EPOS PC38X. Coming in at a price tag of $180. You're like, why is the PC38X the honorable mention? Well, it's actually because the number 1 spot has the exact same drivers and is honestly kind of a PC38X clone, but in a different body, but they upgrade everything across the board. So while the PC38X is a fantastic headset, if you want sound quality, because the comfort is just not there, it's a great headset to buy if you can find it on sale. If you can't, just buy the number 1 spot, because the number 1 spot's the same price, same drivers, but better tuned and much better comfort. I don't think I really need to go into anything else about the PC38X. It's very popular and you should definitely buy it if you can get it cheap, but if not, let's get into the number 1 spot, which is the EPOS H6Pro, coming in at a price tag of $179.99, basically the exact same price as the PC38X. Actually 1 cent cheaper. The build quality here is really unique, a very cool and unique build. Mostly made of plastic, but it feels like really high quality and just nice finishes overall. This definitely does not feel like a cheap headset in hand, even though it's not all metal like the Corsair headset. Mesh accents on the ear cups with metal looking accents throughout the whole headset. This has a nice plush leather top band with polished metal accent with that EPOS logo, and then you get a metal band for your adjustments. The mic here is magnetic and detachable in a very cool way. You kind of just like pull it off and it snaps back into place. It's pretty cool. And this also comes with some plastic pucks to cover the mic attachment if you did want to just use this as more of headphones rather than a headset. That's pretty cool. But let's get into the reason this is at the number 1 spot, and that is the sound quality. This is the best balance of every headset on the list in one. The H6 Pros have a deeper, fuller bass and better tuned trebles than the PC38Xs, being a little bit more crispy, but I still think it's underdone a small amount. And this does show, but again, get yourself an EQ tune software, and literally all you wanna do is keep everything else flat and just a little bit on the upper end of those trebles, and you're gonna be absolutely golden. But again, remember, I am being very picky. If you don't have super hearing like I do, you're probably gonna be okay. Out of the box, the H6 Pros are just better across the board than the PC38Xs. They handle music incredibly well, making this a really extremely enjoyable headset to not only game on, but also listen to complex and complicated music. In game, you absolutely get that emotional side with fantastic bass response. The only thing here is that the tuning on the upper end of the trebles isn't as good out of the box like the Sennheisers, Beyerdynamic, or the Corsairs were. And so because of that, the directional sound, while it's still fantastic, it's not quite as good as those other ones because those trebles just need to be pulled up a little bit. Still super nice to game on, especially for that emotional side. But again, pull those trebles up and you'll be golden. However, one thing I do want to note is if you're big into audio and an audiophile, the bass response on these drivers is really good. This not only gets the really low end deep bass, but also going up their frequency range a little bit, still in the low frequency response, but you go up, and that's really where you get that unbelievable emotional side from music, and that's something you're only ever gonna get out of high quality audiophile style drivers. Now for controls, on the outside of the right ear cup, there is a volume dial, and then the mic mutes when you put it into the upright, kind of like Star Wars, like Stormtrooper, not Stormtrooper, those are like clone troopers, like up, like that's how they go. Although maybe that was a flashlight that they had up there, I don't know. For connectivity, this uses a detachable 2.5 to 3.5 millimeter connection, just like the PC38Xs, because PC38X, yeah, or a 2.5 millimeter to split 3.5 millimeter cable for your mic and then your headphones. Now, comfort here is like a big factor. Not only that it's tuned better than the PC38X's, but the comfort is far better. These are very, very comfortable. The fabric earmuffs are super plush with great breathability. It fits my skull pretty much perfectly, and the top band could have been a teeny bit more padded, but that's being very nitpicky. This is a really, really comfortable headset. But with that, let's talk about the mic. This is identical to the PC38X, which I don't think we did a mic test on because I chose not to, but we're gonna put it at the end of the video, so stick around for that. But yeah, take a listen to the H6 Pro mic.
This is the mic test for the EPOS H6 Pros. Check, check, check. 1, 2, 3.
And that is how it sounds. Again, if you want to check out any of the 5 or 6 with the honorable mention headsets, there's Amazon links below for the US, UK, Canada, and international links. But take a listen to the back-to-back mic tests of all the headsets. Take a listen.
This is the mic test of the Razer Kraken V3 Hypersense. Check, check, check. 1, 2, 3. This is the mic test of the V-Moda BoomPro. Check, check, check. 1, 2, 3. This is the mic test of the Beyerdynamic MMX 300 Gen 2s. Check, check, check. 1, 2, 3. This is the mic test of the Corsair Virtuoso Pros. Check, check, check. 1, 2, 3. This is the mic test for the PC38Xs. Check, check, check. 1, 2, 3. This is the mic test for the EPOS H6 Pros. Check, check, check. 1, 2, 3.